You know, I think sometimes coming to Universal, it's so easy to talk about all the things that have changed in the parks and all the rides that used to be here and this and that. You know, there's a lot of history in the parks, but there's also a lot of history here in CityWalk as well. In fact, there is a point here at Universal when none of this existed. So that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. We're going to go over the then and now of CityWalk. I want to talk about some of the biggest changes that have happened to this part of Universal Orlando and talk about some things that might be coming in the future. So step off of the moving walkway and get ready to join me for another episode of Vincent Vision. Watcha! Oi! Oh my gosh, the thing is rattling. Hi everybody, it's me, Vincent, coming to you from CityWalk. It's a beautifully cloudy day. It's not super busy right now. I'm sitting in the way too big, comically large Margaritaville chair here in front of Margaritaville. And I thought today would be a fun day to talk about all the different changes that have happened here in CityWalk over the years. But maybe not in this chair. Maybe just like somewhere normal. So I think the first thing I need to mention with CityWalk, and which might be a pretty big shocker to a lot of you guys, is that there's actually a point in time where like CityWalk didn't even exist. It's so integral to like the Universal experience. You go through the moving walkway, you park your car, you go to the restaurants, all that kind of stuff. But before 1999, before Islands of Adventure had opened up, CityWalk wasn't a thing. This was all built with Universal when they expanded to having 2 theme parks and hotels, and it was known as Universal Studios Escape. That was what this whole place was called, and that didn't really work out. I think it confused a lot of people, so they switched it to Universal Orlando Resort. CityWalk was an addition that came along in like Universal's second phase. From like 1990 all the way until 99, you would just like park your car in front of Universal Studios Florida, right up there, right by the gates if you paid for like preferred parking or whatever they used back then, and you would just like stroll right into the park. Not something I actually got to see in my lifetime. I never came here to Universal before 1999, though I wish I did, because there's a lot of things I would have loved to experience. It's just crazy to think that like, all of this was like not here at the beginning because it feels so important. It feels like so essential to your Universal trip, CityWalk, you know? There's a lot of changes like that here in CityWalk. Things that are very, very popular now were not always here. And I would like to try and show off some of those today. I'm gonna focus on more of like the bigger changes as well. There's been a lot of small changes throughout the years. Small stores have been switched to new things. I kind of want to focus on some of the biggest ones that at least I remember from my personal memory. So let's go pay a visit to our first stop, which is right over here. That is the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. And for a very, very long time before this place came to be in 2016, this was NBA City. So before there was Toothsome, there was NBA City, okay? Not the NBA experience, not to be confused with the Disney Springs thing that opened for like a year and then closed. This place was open for much longer, and instead of being welcomed by the big factory with all the steam coming out that you see here in Toothsome, you would see across the water a gigantic basketball player welcoming you in to the NBA City. And this restaurant was just like a typical like American food restaurant. Actually, to be honest, I never ate here. I came here as a kid, but I do remember there was like a lot of basketball stuff. I think before the NBA experience, this was like the NBA place to be here in Orlando. As soon as you walked in, you passed by all these basketballs that had handprints of all these famous players like Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, and you get to like put your hand up against it and see how gigantic their hands are compared to yours. I remember they had all the jerseys, they had a bunch of games, you know, all the basketball games and stuff like that. But yeah, this was what was here, and it was the same size. It was just as big as Toothsome. It was a 2-story restaurant here, and I guess if you were a fan of NBA and basketball and you wanted a place to eat after riding roller coasters at Islands of Adventure, you could go to NBA City. Fun thing about Toothsome, I was actually talking to Jacques the robot at the restaurant, and I mentioned to him that this used to be NBA City, and he said, and I don't know if this is truthful or not, but the lights in the restaurant could be a reference to NBA City since they're shaped like basketballs. Again, I don't know how truthful that is, but it is fun to think about. Leave a comment down below if you've actually eaten at NBA City and if you remember the food being any good, or like if you've been to any of these places, because some of these might end up being some pretty deep cuts. Now, my next stop on the tour is right next to Toothsome. This is the Hard Rock Cafe. With actually it being a combination of Hard Rock Cafe and Hard Rock Live, this makes this the largest Hard Rock Cafe in the entire world. There's a lot of them, but what's actually fun to talk about with this one here is this is actually not the first Hard Rock Cafe here at Universal. Long time ago, they used to have one connected directly to the park. It was all the way in the back of Universal Studios, where kind of like E.T. and all the Kids Zone, soon-to-be DreamWorks Land stuff is now. And you could actually enter the park from there. You would go up these stairs, and there was like a big guitar that you'd walk down. This looked like the Pantheon, you know, like a kind of like a Greek temple. This is something that was a little bit before my time as well, so I just kind of live off of the pictures and videos that I could find on the internet. But it's cool to see that like Hard Rock Cafe was so successful that like it found itself here twice at Universal. This is a cool restaurant, a lot of cool stuff to see in here. I've actually never eaten here, or at least it's been a very, very long time since I've eaten here. One of the most random and popular fun facts about this place is that all the way tucked in the back of the restaurant, here they have a piece of the Berlin Wall, which is crazy. It's so random, just tucked here in the back like this. But it's there, you can see it, you can just walk down this little path or cut through the restaurant to get here and look at it. There's also another sort of fun fact trivia with the Berlin Wall here at Universal. Apparently there used to be a lot more graffiti on it when it first came here, but the legend says that some third shift Park Services custodian power washed the Berlin Wall, which I don't know how truthful that is. It's just a legend, a tall tale, but it's pretty crazy if that actually did happen. Another place that a lot of people think about when they come here is NBC Grill and Brew. I mean, it's like very hard to miss. It's these gigantic screens playing all these different games, all these sports games. But before it was the NBC Grill, it was the NASCAR Cafe. A different kind of sport, but a very same type of restaurant. This is like American bar food, American pub food, you know, the wings, the burgers, the beers, all that kind of stuff. But instead, what made this a little more unique, they had a lot of different racing cars all around the restaurant. I remember there was like one out at the entrance you could take pictures with. They had an arcade. I never ate here, I just like went in there a lot as a kid. The building was pretty similar layout though. Like I remember you would go up to the second floor and it was pretty identical to how the NBC Grill is laid out now, but it's kind of fun to see. Gotta have a sports bar here at Universal, right? Like it seems like a good addition to CityWalk, and like maybe NASCAR isn't for everybody, but you can do like a kind of a big generic NBC sports restaurant, a little corporate synergy going on, makes sense. NBC Grill's a pretty solid spot, I would have to say. Good place if you're just looking for like a simple beer and like some sort of kind of some American food, but we will never forget the NASCAR Cafe that used to exist in its place. One of the newer additions to CityWalk is the Universal Great Movie Escape. This is Universal's take on an escape room experience. They've got 2 different rooms based off Back to the Future and Jurassic World. Very cool, very immersive. I feel like I want to do these again because it's been a minute since I did them. Last time I did it was when it first opened up. And here in CityWalk, this is kind of like the only attraction experience that they have here. Everything else is like restaurants and stores. But before it was the Great Movie Escape, it actually used to be a nightclub known as the Groove. Yes, that is right, folks. Way back when, many years ago, Disney Springs, formerly known as Downtown Disney, and Universal Orlando here at CityWalk had a lot of nightlife. You know, Disney Springs had Pleasure Island and Universal had the Groove. And this was like a nightclub that would open till 2 a.m. You can come in here and, I don't know, just like dance the night away, I guess. It's so fun to see how the theme parks have kind of like strayed away from that type of experience. A lot more like family-friendly experiences now, like escape rooms, but there are still some nightclub, late night bar kind of things that you can do here at Universal. There is Rising Star Karaoke, which is like a place you can go and sing with a live band backing you up, which is tons of fun. I've done it before. There's Pat O'Brien's, which is like a New Orleans style bar with like dueling pianos, lots of big drinks. And then there's Bob Marley's Tribute to Freedom, which is a restaurant, but they also have a bar. Big party atmosphere there, live music going on there all the time. Still a lot of fun ways to have like a nightlife experience here at Universal Orlando, but you can actually get some really fun drinks here at the Great Movie Experience as well before you go into your escape room. Now, a lot of these places that I've talked about have been some of the most obvious changes to CityWalk, but there have been tons of different changes throughout the years as well. Almost too many to talk about, so I want to do like what they do at the Oscars to like in memoriam. This is a little in memoriam to all of the old experiences here at CityWalk in Orlando.
I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. I'm so tired tired, but I can't sleep. Standing on the edge of something much too deep. It's funny how we feel so much, we cannot say a word. We are screaming inside, oh, but we can't be heard.
Now, I spent a lot of time in this video talking about the past, the history of CityWalk. I thought it'd be fun to also talk about the future of CityWalk, things that may or may not be showing up in the coming years. One of the biggest, there used to be a store here right in the center of CityWalk. It was called the Universal Legacy Store. It was a really cool store that had tons of old school props of Universal rides and experiences, had a ton of merchandise as well. It was a place that celebrated the past of Universal, and people are saying that sometime later this year, we will get something that's gonna talk about all of the future of Universal, which is Epic Universe, the theme park right around the corner. People believe that this space is going to become the preview center for Epic Universe, which would be pretty amazing if true. Now, Universal has had a preview center before. They did it for Islands of Adventure when that park first opened up, kind of like as a show you all the new things that are coming to the brand new theme park. Disney did something like that very recently with Epcot in the past couple of years, and they talked about all the different plans for the park. I am excited to see what the Epic Universe version of a preview center looks like, if that's what's going to take this place here. I just want to see the big model of the park that they show in that video, which is so cool. So excited to see that. Look forward to hearing an actual confirmation from Universal about that. And as of recording this video, we actually got some news that two of the stores right at the front of CityWalk, which have been here for a while, are going to be going away in April, very, very soon. Quiet Flight and Cinnabon are going to be going away forever, and we don't really know what's going to replace them. A lot of people have theorized that this may be the spot for a Super Nintendo World store here at CityWalk, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Nintendo merchandise sells like crazy, and even before Super Nintendo opened up in California, they had stores selling the products. So like, I think it makes a ton of sense. Also, it gets people excited for Epic Universe. So yeah, I think that'll work. Now, is it gonna be this gigantic store like the Quiet Flight store? I don't think so. Maybe it'll probably take the Cinnabon space, because I don't think there's that much Nintendo merch. But I'm pretty excited to see that, and whatever ends up replacing that. But I didn't really have Cinnabon as much as I maybe should have, and I did like the Quiet Flight store. I've actually gotten a couple things from there. It was like the most normal out of the stores here in CityWalk. But the thing I'm gonna miss the most, and I think a lot of people are gonna miss, is that super cool surfboard photo op that they had there. You know, rest in peace to that. I hope they find a way to keep that, because I think like there has to have been like a million pictures that have been taken there since the place first opened up. But my friends, that is gonna wrap it up for me. A lot of fun history here at CityWalk, and I hope you enjoyed some of the things I've talked about. If there's anything that I didn't mention that you think was worth mentioning, please let us know down below in the comments. I love this kind of history, and there is a lot to it. I don't know all of it. I'd love to hear some experiences from those of you who actually experience things like NBA City and the Groove and all of that, and what you're looking forward to once the potential Epic Universe Preview Center opens up, the potential Super Nintendo World store. We will see. I'm very, very excited. But I'm actually gonna get on out of here. Like the day that I'm filming this, it's like very, very windy. It's like they've got a storm coming, folks. So I am gonna get on out of here, say goodbye to CityWalk, and thank you guys for watching another Vincent Vision. Please, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe for more Universal videos like this one, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.